we're going to discuss and cover these are the following topics. What is actual alcoholic beverages, that includes the introduction, followed by what are the different kinds and types of alcoholic beverages, followed by its industries and economical impact, how it is helpful in generating the revenues and the job portfolios for the newcomers. Followed by there are certain pros and cons related to the alcoholic beverages such as health effects, followed by conclusion, and last is the references for the future studies. Alcoholic beverage. As we all know that alcohol is the mostly consumed and frequently drinkable beverages among various age groups except the neonates and the children. It covers the age groups of the adolescents, teenagers, youngsters and adults. Followed by that, it is odorless, drinkable, that is potable, liquid, obtained through fermentation. Now, this is the basic keyword of the alcoholic beverages. How it is being produced means the fermentation is the foremost and the basic steps for the distillation of the sugar in samples that has been introduced for the alcoholic beverage production. Among the various productions of the alcoholic beverages, ethyl alcohol is the primary one, but again there is a risk of development of another alcohols that has been done at a primary and a local level, such as in the language we can say kachi sharab. That is extremely harmful because of the production of, along with ethyl alcohol, methanol and isopropanol that causes to the death of many people across the globe. Now, the percent of variation of alcohol in alcoholic beverages, that is range from 1% to 75% of ethyl alcohol, and again saying it is the ethyl alcohol that is the key word in the alcoholic beverages, neither the methanol, neither the isopropyl alcohol, by the volume with varying norms for different countries for sales and production. Now, there is a keyword has been written for sale and production. If I am talking about the less percentage of alcohol, that is going to 1% to 5%, that alcohol has been produced by law of a country, and for particularly for the tiny humans or small children under the medical usage under prescribed supervisions. And apart from the higher percentage of alcohol when it goes, then it would be for the higher and elderly people. Generally, potable alcohols produced by fermentation. These are the methods: brewing and distillation. Proceeding with the types of alcohol, it is containing a huge variety. That is only of the alcoholic part. This is precisely divided into three parts: fermented, distilled and compound. In fermented, we have four types: beer, cider, perry and wine. Again, beer is of 3 to 4 types: ale, broad beer, lager beer, light or low alcohol beer. While in case of wine, we have sparkling wines, fortified wines and table wines. Fortified wines are categorized into two types, that is of aperitifs and desertifs. In aperitifs, we have vermouths, bitters and dry sherry. As the name suggests, aperitif and digestive fits are the category of fortified wines. These are primarily made in Japan and in France, having a concept of having a drink before the meal, that is aperitif, and having a meal after a food, having a drink after a meal, that is desertif. Means if we have to enhance our hunger, then we have to aperitif. The basic motive of the meal is aperitif is to open the hunger, and desertified means to close the hunger after consumption of a meal. And aperitif has three types: vermouth, bitters and dry sherry. Desserts select Madeira, Port, Meseta, sweet sherry, Malaga and Tokyo. Followed with the table wine, we have three categories: rose wine, red wine and white wine. Again, this is the second part of the alcoholic beverage that falls under the distilled, or we can commonly known as spirits. Here we have rum, whiskey, gin, Dutch, vodka, tequila, other spirits, brandy. Now, what falls under the rum? What sorts of type? White rum, golden rum, brown rum, dark rum, Jamaica rum and old malts. alcohol, he or she has to turn around the label of the bottle and see what percent of alcohol has been present in that particular liquor, followed by vodka that has been prepared from potatoes and spent grains, brandy, cognac, Armagnac, Australian brandy and liquor brandy, followed by other spirits that is Arya, Calvados, Grappa and Sake. Sake is a type of distilled and fermented, both categories of the alcoholic beverages. Further, compound and compound includes the liquors. Now, all the alcoholic beverages initiate their preparation from the first word, that is the fermentation. What is actually fermentation and how it is helpful in converting the starch of a grain into the alcohol with the help of sugar that has been present. Here, presence of the sugar and starch in a grain, which is developed by germination. We have to soak a grain for a certain period of time while constantly changing the water of it, that is known as malting or steep. Or malting is converted into alcohol by the action of certain microbes. These microbes could be produced or added depending on the type of end product that we need. Fermentation can be controlled under certain criteria such as temperature of the fermentation, pressure, rate of aeration, pH, humidity and time of maturation, followed with the varying type of sugars that has been present in a grain itself. Followed by that, in certain fermented product there is requirement to certain limit of carbonation such as beer and champagne. A person who is a frequent drinker is always have a craving to go with a chilled beer, not with a hot beer, because carbonation always affects a sensory and a psychoactive behavior of a person who drinks very frequently. Beer falls into the same criteria. As the bottle of beer is being chilled, the carbonation effects become more. That is why the satiety feeling of the person enhances more. Followed by that, commonly used fermented beverages include beer, wine, sake, brandy, gin, whiskey, vodka, tequila and rums. Now, this is actually a fermentation picture on a basics level. We have sugar from the grains. We have added the microbe, that is the yeast. These two combination, yeast helps in the conversion of sugar present inside the grain into the alcohol and the evolution of the CO2 from that particular beverage. Now, this is beer. As we all know, the top of the beer is always comes with the froth because of the carbonation and the fizz that has been present. These are the basic grains of the barley that is commonly used in the production of the beer. That is the source of starch and the sugar for a beer. But beer are always bitter in the taste. Depending on the alcohol content and the percent of hops. This is the picture of hops. This is the one and the only compound that produce the flavor to the beer. So, what is beer? Beer is a fermented alcoholic beverage made from barley, water, hops and along with some of the selected microorganisms. Again, beer, alcoholic beverage prepared by extracting raw materials such as water, boiling usually with the hops and fermentation. Along with that, beer production involves, it is a critical step series which initiates with the malting, milling, mashing, extract separation, hop addition, either dry addition or wet addition, followed by boiling to arrest the enzymatic activity of the grains that has been triggered, then precipitates, cooling and aeration, fermentation, separation of the yeast from the young beer, aging, maturing and finally packaging. Followed with this, the purpose of the entire process of the beer production from the fermentation is to convert the grain starch into the sugar with the help of the microorganisms and extract that sugar into the water that we have added and then ferment it with the help of yeast to produce alcoholic, lightly carbonated beverage. Beer are generally produced from barley malt. It could be another source with varying sources and ground malt is added to make the mash. It is a process in which these keywords are followed. Addition of the flavoring compound recognized as hops. In hops, there is a compound known as alpha isoamino acids which are commonly used with mash and separate for fermenting, and fermentation process lasts for several weeks to years with the help of 2 to 6% of soap but without water. They are meant for the germination. Here the actual enzymatic reactions triggers and grain amylases has been triggered. Followed by that milling. These germinated soap grains are sent to the milling center where they has been dried to arrest initial enzymatic activity. These three steps, steeping, germination and milling, are collectively known as one subject, that is malting of the grains. Followed by these dried grains of the milling are being sent to the miller. With the help of milling, we use roller mills, not the aggregation mills, because the particle size that we have to find is of uniformity. If the particle size of the milled grains is not uniform, the extraction of the samples is not being comfortable and complete. After that, the sample has been obtained is grist. Grist has been sent to the mesh mixture where water is additionally added depending on the grist size and the water. This entire mixture has sent to the lauter tun where water and spent grains are being separated. What is spent grain? Spent grain is one of the molecules that rest and left after the extraction of the main component. This is recognized as wort. Now, wort has been followed to kettle. Kettle in this brewing has been triggered with the addition of hops. Again, hops is the flavoring compound of the beer. Followed by that, this is constantly a whirlpool separator, just like the washing machines kept on rotating, whirlpool separator also kept on rotating. Why this is happening? To make the beer full with the aeration. Now again it has been sent to the plate heat exchanger to settle down the heat of the entire mixture and cooling has been done. Now this process and this sample has been sent to the, that is known as wort, sent to the fermentation vessel. In the fermentation vessel, we additionally add the yeast for the proper triggering of the fermentation vessel, and once the fermentation vessel and the fermentation has been achieved, we have to remove the excess of the yeast at any cost. If the excess of yeast has present, the flavor and the texture of the beer has not been achieved. At this particular stage, this is known as green beer. This should not be consumed at any cost because the alcohol percent is not fixed yet and it caused any damage. Next, green beer has been sent to the maturation tanks where maturation it took 2 to 4 weeks, it took 2 to 3 years, it took 2 to 1 to 7 years depending on the type of beer. If it is Budweiser, Ale, Krug, Carlsberg, any beer it is, then it is the depending on the maturation tank. Followed by that, we goes with the filtration, and in filtration unit, parallelly, we go with the filling and the corking of the bottles. In the next step, we goes with the flash pasteurization, that is again with the plate heat exchanger, where tunnel pasteurization is used with the help of a conveyor belt, where bottles are constantly passed over a flash pasteurization for a flash of seconds. Followed by that, the finally matured, filtered and fermented beer has been packed into the keg. Keg is a metallic or a wooden drum in which final beer has been stored till it has been filled into the next design bottles, beers and kegs. Now types of beer: ale and lager. Ale is a top fermented beer and lager is a bottom fermented beer. The traditional fermented beer at a warmer temperature. These are the two basic varieties of the beer that are commonly produced in the market, and for the referencing we can also go with the periodic table of the beers. Just like the periodic table of the chemicals that we use in the chemistry, we have the periodic tables of the beers also. So again, ale and lager, top fermented beer, traditionally fermented at a warmer temperatures of 12 to 21 degrees Celsius, followed by strong and rich flavor. If you open a beer bottle and you find a very strong and a rich flavor of hops, of anything, then it could be a ale. Followed by that, it tend to be fruity and aromatic and include more bitter beers. So you have a hint if you are going to drink a beer either chilled or at a room temperature and you find it more bitter as compared to other, then you can find definitely it's a ale one, and are enjoyed at a warmer temperature of 7 to 12 degrees Celsius, while at the lager, it is a bottom fermented beer typically at a cooler temperature ranging from 3 to 10 degrees Celsius, and it includes the lighter tasting beers, means that is a strong tasting beer and it is a lighter tasting beer. buy from the market in the different shops. In lager we have American lager, Pilsner, Dumped and Rock. While in ales we have barley wines, pale ale, porter and stout. What is the basic difference? So in lager this is bottom fermenting having a smooth and fruity taste, while its formation temperature is 45 to 54 degrees Fahrenheit or 32 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit. While in case of ales, it is formation temperature is 60 to 75 degrees Celsius and top fermenting having strong and robust body and aroma. Okay, why this is actually happening after having a good wine and a good alcoholic beverage, we always feel tumbled. This is the reason of the alcohol percentage. Now, wine. It is another fermented juice from basically obtained from the grapes, white grapes, green grapes. White grapes we call it as green grapes as the white grapes or red grapes as the black grapes. Now, this is the coming from the genus of Vitis, that is species of Vitis vinifera, and it is also known as European grape, which is most commonly used among the entire viticultures, and beverage produced from Vitis labrusca are the natives of American grapes. So we have two grapes, that is one is your European grapes and another one is your American grapes. So these grapes are actually changing their geographical indications, so the taste of the wine is also altered. And there is a hint, the aging of the wine took long as compared to beer, whiskey, gin, tequila, rum and vodkas. Followed by that, when other fruits are fermented from a produced particular type of fruit, then it is named by their fruits, such as example peach wines and blackberry wines. Followed by that, wine is traditionally produced from grapes, that is why we include grape as the basic source, by crushing and fermenting them with the help of grape juices and typically flavored during aging. The minimum age period that is 4 to 7 years. In India, Nasik and Solapur wines are the most famous wines across the India, with having an alcoholic percent of 7 to 24%. Followed by, this is actual picture, one is taken from a research, one is taken from one of the actual vineyards. What is actually happening? We have two types of grapes, green grapes and black grapes, that has been shown purple. In this image, there is a crusher and a stemmer. Crusher is actually crushing the grapes and stemmer is actually removing the stalk of the every grape that has been attached to the single fruit. Now there are three pipelines are going, in which one is having the green grapes, that is the horizontal press is going to press the grapes and extract the juice and remaining behind the solids. Followed by that, we have vats, VAT. Vat are the actual vessel where fermentation took place. It is the large size vessels of the SS304, stainless steel 304, so that fermentation should not interfere with the metallic hindrances and alter the taste of entire lots. Followed by that, we have fermenting rose wine. What is the difference between red wine and rose wine? These both are produced from the red grapes, that is black grapes. The difference comes from the red wine is produced from the husk or the outer skin of the grapes, while rose wine is prepared from the flesh of the red grapes. Okay, again the fermenting vat is converted into the juice collection, and after the aging has been done in wooden oaks or barrels. Wooden oak could be of oak type or different selective wood. These wood imparts the flavor of their wood into the particular wine. Say for example white wine, red wine with free run message and rose wine. Now on the contrary, that is a layout of the how industry works, and inside the industry what is actually happening. This is the process. We have taken the white grapes. Grapes are receivable, then grapes de-stem and crushing. That has been happening in this picture. Followed by that, pressing, skins and seeds are removed. We have collected the juice in their vats. After the skins has been removed, must extraction has been done and cold setting. During the must extraction, we have done the sulfur dioxide treatment to remove extra microbial content. It should not alter the taste, because wine is the only alcoholic beverage that runs behind the taste and its aromatic body. Followed by that, cold setting to remove further any extraneous matter if present. Then rattling of the white wine and rose wines. Red wine is prepared from red or black grapes. White wine mostly from green grapes. And rose wine is a type of wine which has the color and texture of red wine, but it is produced from the flesh of the red grapes after removal of the scales. Now, what is sparkling wine and say? When wine is having higher degree of carbonation, that it is known as sparkling wine. When wine contains excess of the carbon dioxide are known as sparkling wine, and they are usually consumed as the table wine, as the aperitifs to increase the hunger, and containing less alcohol, that is up to only less sugar percent, that is 4. Now, two basic techniques that has been used. First one is the fermentation and directly use of the carbonation for enhancing the sparkling content of a sparkling wine. Now, what is sake? Sake is a Japanese drink produced from the fermented rice, in which it is light in color, less in fermentation. It is having a 14 to 16% alcohol only. It is a very common drink in Japan. Now, the first one is the fermentation, second one is the distillation. Why distilled spirits are more costly? Say for example, if a beer bottle is coming of 80 rupees, then a bottle of Old Monk is coming of 340 rupees. Exemplary. Why Old Monk is costly, or you can say Jack Daniels on the rocks, again a whiskey type, is costly as compared to the beers. Why? Because of the distillation. Distillation is the process in which we have to concentrate a beer, or you can say a fermented liquid, to remove the excess of the water. The process in which alcohol is separated from the mash of fermented juice, that is heated to cause the evaporation of the vapors of alcohol, which are further collected and condensed in the liquid form. Again, the boiling point of alcohol is generally 78.3 degrees Celsius, and commonly produced distilled alcoholic beverage include whiskey, that is Scotch, Irish, Canadian, American, Indian, with alcohol percent of 40 to 50%, leading to vodka, liquors, gin, rum, brandy and tequila. Now, apart from all these things, what is the industrial impact and how we are generating the revenue? Every country in the world is having the alcohol and the brewery sectors, which are generating handsome amount of money with these sectors only, a part of their health, demonstrating benefits and losses. What is actually happening? Alcoholic beverage industry contributes about 1.5 million jobs. Wow, congratulations. If there are such amount of jobs, then the revenue produced from such jobs is also going to high, as reflected as per the data of 2019, 48.8 billion USD in the sales only, not the profit, not the input. It's the data of only sales. Followed by that, it is a world data, and if it is coming to the India sectors, these are open to the foreign investors also, and many states subsides for the local manufacturing, that is Maharashtra and